Namaste. Om Sai Ram. Hope all of you liked yesterday's introduction, which I did on Guru Purnima Day. So this will become Namma Sai signature flow. So every Thursday I'll show up here. We'll spend few minutes and let's all gather to understand and learn how Sai Baba lived his life. Thank you all. Om Sai Ram. Welcome to all of you to my Namma Sai family. Om Sai. So this is a humble offering, as I said earlier, at the lotus feet of Shri Sai Baba. Together, let us begin our journey through Shri Sai Satcharitra, not just to read it, but to live its principles and teachings. Okay? So let me tell you something about the opening story. A farmer planted a mango seed. Every morning, he watered it with lots of love. His neighbor was going on watching this every day. And he just laughed at him and said, "Nothing has grown. Why are you just pouring water? Why don't you dig and see? What has happened to the seed?" The farmer smiled and replied, "If I keep digging it up every day, it will never grow. I must trust the process of growth. Our prayers are just like that seed." Sai Baba teaches us that every prayer needs two things: Shraddha, that is faith, and Saburi, that is patience. When we trust His timing, what is meant for us will blossom beautifully. So let us pray for a moment here, all of us with Sai and for Sai. Dear Sai, open our hearts to receive your wisdom. Help us understand not only your words but also your love. May this reading bring peace to everyone listening to this. Om Sai Ram. So let's do the chapter reading now together. Let's begin. Om Sai Ram. So the chapter 1 is the wondrous saint grinding wheat. Okay, so let's. So let me read. Okay, you can listen to me, or if you have Sai Satcharitra with you, you can also read that. Okay, any comments you want to give me, any instructions, any suggestions, I welcome all of your suggestions. Okay, thank you. Om Sai Ram. So the story of grinding wheat and its philosophical significance. According to the ancient and revered custom, Hemat Pant begins the work Shri Sai Satcharitra with various salutations. First, he makes obeisance to the god Ganesh to remove all obstacles and make the work a success, and says that Shri Sai is the god Ganesh himself. Then to the goddess Saraswati to inspire him to write the work, and says that Shri Sai is one with this goddess and that he is himself singing his own life. Then to the gods Brahma, Vishnu, and Shankar, the creating, preserving, and destroying deities respectively, and says that Sainath is one with them, and he, the greatest teacher, will carry us across the river of worldly existence. Then to his tutelary deity Narayan Adinath, who manifested himself in Konkan, the land reclaimed by Parashurama. Ram, in the Hindi version, is from the sea and to the Adi, original Purush of the family. So, this goes on how he relates Sai to all the gods and goddesses, and he gives the introduction. So, let's just go through the takeaway of this story. So, then he related to his grandfather Sadashiv, father Raghunath, his mother, who left him in his infancy to his paternal aunt, who brought him up, and to his loving elder brother. Then to the readers, and praise them to give their whole and undivided attention to his work. And lastly, to his Guru Shri Sainath, an incarnation of Shri Dattatreya, who is his sole refuge and who will make him realize that Brahma is the reality and the world is just an illusion. Absolutely. And incidentally, to all the beings in whom the Lord God dwells. So, after describing in brief the various modes of devotion according to Parashar, Vyasa, Shandilya, etc., the author goes on to relate the following story. So, let's see how it goes. Very interesting. It was sometime after 1910 that I went one fine morning to the masjid in Shirdi for having a darshan of Sai Baba. I was wonderstruck to see the following phenomenon. After washing his mouth and face, Sai Baba began to make preparations for grinding the wheat. He spread a sack on the floor and thereon set a hand mill. He took some quantity of wheat in a winnowing pan, and then drawing up the sleeves of his kafni, that is nothing but his robe, and taking hold of the peg of the hand mill, started grinding the wheat by putting a few handfuls of wheat in the upper opening of the mill and rotated it. I thought, what business Baba had with the grinding of wheat when he possessed nothing and stored nothing, and has he lived on alms? Some people who had come there thought likewise, but none had the courage to ask Baba what he was doing. Immediately, this news of Baba's grinding wheat spread into the village, and at once men and women ran to the masjid and flocked there to see Baba's act. 4 bold women from the crowd forced their way up, and pushing Baba aside, took forcibly the peg or handle into their hands, and singing Baba's Leela started grinding. At first, Baba was enraged, but on seeing the women's love and devotion, He was much pleased and began to smile. While they were grinding, they began to think that Baba had no house, no property, no children, none to look after, and he lived on alms, and therefore he did not require any wheat flour for making bread or roti. What will he do with this big quantity of flour? Perhaps, as Baba in very kind, he will distribute the flour amongst us. Thinking in this way, and while singing, they finished the grinding, and after putting the hand mill aside, they divided the flour into 4 portions and began to remove them by taking 1 portion per head. Baba, who was calm and quiet up till now, got wild and started abusing them, saying, "Ladies, have you gone mad? Whose father's property are you looting away? Have I borrowed any wheat from you so that you can safely take the flour? Now, do this. Take the flour and throw it on the village borders." On hearing this, the women felt abashed and, whispering amongst themselves, went to the outskirts of the village and spread the flour as directed by Baba. Let's all think why this happened. Interesting. I asked the Shirdi people, what was this that Baba did? They replied that as the cholera epidemic was spreading in the village, this was Baba's remedy against the same. It was not wheat that was ground, but cholera itself was ground to pieces and pushed out of the village. From this time onward, the cholera epidemic subsided and the people of the village were very, very happy. I was much pleased to know all this, but at the same time, my curiosity was also aroused. I began to ask myself, what earthly connection was there between wheat flour and cholera? What was the casual relation between the two? And how to reconcile them? The incident seems to be inexplicable. I should write something on this and sing to my heart's content Baba's sweet Leelas. Thinking in this way about this Leela, my heart was filled with joy, and I was thus inspired to write Baba's life, the Sai Satcharitra. Om Sai Ram. And as we know, with Baba's grace and blessings, this work was successfully accomplished. Let's understand philosophical significance of grinding. Apart from the meaning which the people of Shirdi put on this incident of grinding wheat, there is, we think, a philosophical significance too. Baba lived in Shirdi for about 60 years, and during this long period, he did the business of grinding almost every day. Not, however, the wheat alone, but the sins, the mental and physical afflictions, and the miseries of his innumerable devotees. The 2 stones of his mill consisted of karma and bhakti, the former being the lower one and the latter the upper one. The handle with which Baba worked the mill consisted of dhyan. It was the firm conviction of Baba that knowledge or self-realization is not possible unless there is the prior act of grinding of all our impulses, desires, sins, and of 3 gunas. vis-a-vis sattva, rajas, tamas, and the ahankar, which is so subtle and therefore so difficult to get rid of. Yes, this reminds us of a similar story of Kabir, who, seeing a woman grinding corn, said to his guru, Nipat Niranjan, I am weeping because I feel the agony of being crushed under this wheel of worldly existence. Like the corn in the hand mill, Nipat Niranjan replied, Do not be afraid. Hold fast to the handle of knowledge in this mill as I do, and do not wander far away from the same, but turn inward to the center, and you are sure to be saved. Bow to Shri Sai. Peace be to all. Om Sai Ram. Yes, it's a very interesting story where we learn a lot of things from this chapter. While we learn, let's also take away the Sai's message, which has come to me and to all of us. Chapter 1 is just not merely the beginning of a book. Okay, it's just beginning of a relationship. And how often do we hesitate? We think we are not good enough. Sai reminds us that if our intention is pure, He will guide all of us. So let's do one Namma Sai reflection, just for 1 minute, okay? All of you, close your eyes gently. Take one deep breath. Think of that one burden you have been carrying. One burden. Now silently repeat. I release my fear. I embrace the faith. I trust Sai Baba's perfect timing. Every breath fills me with peace. Imagine placing all that burden we do just thought about at Sai Baba's feet. Take another slow breath. Open your eyes when you are ready, gently. I want all of you to just ask one question to yourself. What burden can I surrender to Sai Baba with complete faith, 100% faith? Please question yourself. Write your answer today and read it again next Thursday. Okay. Or you can do it every day too, but I want to read it next Thursday when we meet also. Or you can put in the comment section, notice what changed. Okay, so let's do one Sai practice. Today's practice is very, very simple. Whenever something doesn't go your way this week, I want you to pause. Take a pause. Just smile and silently say Shraddha, Saburi. In your mind, obviously. If you are okay, even louder, no problem. But the moment you feel you are not okay, remember Shraddha, Saburi before you react in that situation. Okay? So, today's Sai's Whisper. I want to give it to all of you. Sai is already working on what you are worrying about today. You gave it just in 1 minute's meditation. Carry that sentence throughout the week. Keep thinking about it. And he's already started working on it. Om Sai Ram. Let's close this session with a prayer. Dear Sai, thank you for walking with us today. May every home listening receive your blessings. Fill our hearts with faith, our minds with peace, and our lives with patience. May we not only read your story, but become living examples of your teachings. Om Sai Ram. Om Sai Ram. Om Sai Ram. Thank you all. Let's meet next Thursday. Until then, you are open to comment. I welcome all the suggestions. Thank you. Good night.